charm. Got it right.
Yay.
And, of course, it's with Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Now, you had another listing to talk about. You had your pocket listing there. And now you have another listing we want to talk about.
Yeah, Yarrow. Who doesn't love Yarrow?
Any town with 3 liquor stores within about a block of each other. That's my kind of town.
What a great location. Next to the mountains and Cultus Lake.
It's a beautiful spot. It really is.
Beautiful. Yeah. And my mother-in-law, she was pretty much raised there, her whole family. There's a street called Bergman, and that's named after my mother-in-law's family.
Well, there's a Ham Road in Abbotsford named after my mom's side of the family.
I knew we had something in common.
There we go.
Okay, so this one's off Yarrow Central Road, and it's beautifully built, custom, 2008. It's 5 bedrooms. It's 2 full bathrooms. It's almost 12,000 square foot lot, which is really nice, over a quarter acre. The house is almost 3,000 square feet. It's got tons of parking. It definitely does have a attached double garage, but it also has RV parking, and it is gorgeous. So if you want that, if you want to have a look at that, call your realtor, call me if you don't have one, and it's $1,189,999 price point on that one. Okay, so that is the new listing for today. I wanted to talk about the GPT. We wanted to know, how is it going to affect the real estate market? Some things to consider. So, do I need to disclose questions have been asked?
Well, I guess the first thing for people that maybe don't know what GPT is.
Thank you. Explain.
This is artificial intelligence. And there's various programs for it. There's even a radio one out there.
Oh, really?
I could be replaced.
No.
You could have a GPT host with you asking probably smarter questions than I ask you.
Will it sound like you?
No. And because you know why? It won't screw up. It'll lose the human factor.
It won't use literally all the time?
It won't use literally all the time. It won't screw up the name of the show. So I think we're good. But AI is coming a long way. And you know what? There's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to AI because there's so many advancements that can happen with AI. Like when you think about what AI can do for medical, because AI can continue to work on things. When researchers need breaks and stuff like that, AI can assist and continue, and there's a lot of great potential with artificial intelligence. There's some scary stuff, too, if you've seen the Terminator movies.
And who hasn't?
It's not the Skynet we're talking about here, hopefully. But GPT is something now that's, it's out there in a lot of different ways. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear how you say it can affect, real estate.
Yeah, especially now in the kind of just, let's call it the beginnings, the birth of it. And, of course, it's going to get wiser and smarter and just be crazy as it goes on. But I haven't tried it yet for remarks. I want to try it on one of my listings for the public remarks. I have not done it yet. We're allowed 800 characters, and I'm going to do that, though. Maybe my next listing.
My boss, as a joke, wrote me my my firing letter through ChatGPT.
No.
It was really well done and professional.
What? You're getting fired?
No, well, he did it with me as a joke. He's like, let's try it out. Write a letter of, I'm firing Curtis or whatever, and we're reading it. We're laughing our heads off because it was pro.
Funny. That is funny. My brother-in-law wrote a song about Richard. He told him just a few things.
Yeah.
The ChatGPT, and it spit out a song. And I'm telling you, it has all a song would have. It's beautiful. I told Richard he should actually record it.
I like that.
Yeah.
He better record it before the software can record it themselves.
Oh, yeah, totally true. And take whose voice.
That's right.
So do you need to disclose? So even more queries ChatGPT can't answer. So, yeah, it can be a useful tool, but it spits out a lot of bad advice at this point in part 2 of the series. And we're going to talk about the other one as well. So there's 2. Well, the other one's like 5 things buyers actually put in ChatGPT and what it spits out. So as ChatGPT and other AI chatbots have exploded on the scene, realtors are now having to confront an avalanche of expert advice riddled with half-truths and misinformation. More than ever, realtors must be prepared to be the trusted advisor who helps their clients avoid following chatbot-generated misinformation that can lead to litigation. So that's the thing when you're talking about legal stuff and you're relying on this information. If you don't edit it and check it and do all that, it can be pretty bad. Or if you're just using like a Google search for it and relying on that information. It's like having a huge health issue or you're having a health issue and you Google results and you're like, you get all scared. And,
you're always dying. If you
yeah.
ever Google your symptoms.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a cold, but you Google it, now you're dying.
Yeah. So So first, has there been a recent appraisal on the property? So that's one of the questions. So perhaps the most troubling thing that ChatGPT and other chatbots do is to hedge their bet by saying, as a language model, I cannot provide legal advice, and then immediately provide information that often constitutes legal advice. So the paragraph down here that I'm going to show you illustrates the point. So I'm going to read it. As a language model, this is ChatGPT, I cannot provide legal advice. However, in general, the disclosure requirements regarding an appraisal depend on the laws and regulations of the state or country where the property is located. So far, so good. But then it advises, therefore, the listing agent should consult with a licensed real estate attorney in the relevant jurisdiction for specific guidance on disclosure obligations. So agents are trained on disclosures and that obligation and what needs to be disclosed. And I always say, as a habit, disclose, disclose, disclose. There's, an ant or whatever. You have an ant. Oh, maybe it's an ant infestation or anything. Just disclose. It's always better. A buyer always would rather know and have it explained to them exactly what's happening than find out later on. You don't want any issues. And as a buyer, you make a stronger, better buying decision when you know what you're getting into. So the next statement have additional errors as well. Here it goes. In some jurisdictions, sellers are required to disclose any material facts that may affect a buyer's decision to purchase the property. An appraisal can be considered a material fact if it provides information that could affect a buyer's decision to purchase the property or the price they are willing to pay. In such cases, the seller may be required to disclose the appraisal to potential buyers. If there is any uncertainty about whether the appraisal needs to be disclosed, the listing agent should err on the side of caution and disclose it. Additionally, if the appraisal is still relevant and reflective of the property's value, it may be beneficial to share it with potential buyers to help support the asking price. So the correct response is different than that. Whether something qualifies as a material fact is a legal issue, agents should never attempt to make that determination. So whether you're an agent or you're a buyer or you're a seller using ChatGPT for legal information, please do not rely on it, is my message here today. So Inman is a real estate professional body, and that is just them. This article is to disclose some of the issues with ChatGPT. So do I need to disclose any issues with the property to potential buyers? And so a GPT correctly advised that listing agents have a legal and ethical obligation to ensure that all material facts about the property are disclosed to potential buyers. Material facts are any issues that may affect the value or the health of the property. Therefore, the answer to the question, do I need to disclose issues with the property to potential sellers, is yes. The listing agent should advise their seller to disclose any known issues with the property to potential buyers. So some of those things, I won't go on with this. There's a few more examples, like what is the square footage of the property questions? What are the fees and commissions for selling my home? The other question, how should listing agents disclose the current property tax information on their listing? So these are just, if you want the article, you can ask me for it. And I'm happy to send it to you because you do have to pay for a membership, and so I can explain that to you. So the other thing is, how's the neighborhood? 5 buyer queries ChatGPT gets really wrong. So this one's for buyers. This is so much fun.
It addresses at Hastings and Maine in Vancouver. It's a lovely neighborhood with a department store right nearby that 100 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's taken all the information it knows. So let's just get to the actually questions. And what is the condition of the property? Okay, so ChatGPT says, if the agent has personally viewed the property, they can describe any visible defects or issues that they have noticed, such as signs of wear and tear, damage, or needed repairs. They can also provide information on the age and condition of major systems and components, such as the roof, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and appliances. The correct response is, when buyers inquire about the condition of the property, the only correct answer is to advise them to hire their own inspector and to do their own due diligence. Under no circumstance should agents try to evaluate any of the home's systems or components, nor should they attempt to determine an age and condition of those systems. And this is really important because we are realtors. We're not accountants. We're not lawyers. We're not HVAC specialists. We we aren't those things. So definitely do your due diligence when you're buying a property, and I will end that on that one. So what are the average closing costs and how much should I expect to pay? This is a question. So ChatGPT says, for a home buyer, typically closing costs may include fees for the mortgage loan, such as an application fees, appraisal fees, and loan origination fees. Other costs may include title search and insurance fees, survey fees, property taxes, and homeowners insurance. On average, buyers can expect to pay between $3,000 and $7,500 in closing costs. For a home seller, typically closing costs may include fees for the real estate agent, title search and insurance fees, transfer taxes, and attorney fees. On average, sellers can expect to pay between 1% and 3% of the sale price of the home in closing costs. The correct response is ChatGPT correctly states that types of fees are included in the closing costs for the buyer, but as soon as it veers off into stating the potential amounts of closing costs, it's now providing the consumer and agent with information that is highly regulated by TRID. TRID was implemented in 2015 with the purpose of harmonizing the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA, and Truth in Lending Act, TILA, disclosures and regulations. So there are, and also, I'm adding here, there are different fees and there's different things for every state, for every province. So again,
every province, every the U.S., everything around the world, and the AI is going to be not specifically searching probably Canada.
Exactly. And even in your own hometown, different brokerages, there's something called the Competition Act, and different brokers, different agents, we can all charge different things. So there's no average commission. So asking how much is it going to cost me? Well, the best people to ask are the actual professionals that you need. So a realtor in your local area will know what you need, and then you were to call to get a price point. Some lawyers and notaries charge different. Even the lawyers with lawyers charge different, and notaries to notaries. Like everything's different.
Well, you're paying for experience there too. If you've got a lawyer that's been practicing for 35 years, they're probably going to charge something more than somebody who's 2 years into their practice.
Exactly. And what if you're buying a mobile home or a strata or a detached? And what if you're buying something that has a mortgage on it, doesn't have a mortgage, or you're going to have a mortgage, or you're not going to have a mortgage? All these things will make the price point different. So, so don't rely on that. So getting to the neighborhood, let's end it with that. So what is the neighborhood like? Okay, ChatGPT says the realtor should provide a detailed response that covers all the important factors that the buyer is likely to be interested in, such as the safety of the area, local amenities, public transportation, and property values. The realtor should also use data and statistics to support their response, such as crime rates, school ratings, and property appreciation rates. Correct response would be there are multiple issues with the GPT statement that I just mentioned. So the correct response, steering under the Fair Housing Act, is the process of influencing a buyer's choice of communities based upon the buyer's race, color, religion, gender, disability, family status, or national origin. Steering on the basis of any of the characteristics defined under the Fair Housing Act is not only unethical, it's illegal because it limits the housing opportunities available to that buyer. So these kinds of things, neighborhood, you shouldn't take personal advice on things like that. You should actually find out for yourself what's important. What is important to you? What do you need? And go check it out. Because like you said, Curtis, what if it's completely different than it was last year?
Yeah.
So many things happen.
Things can turn in a hurry. Or historically an area can be, one thing, and then over time, who knows what can happen to it. Houses, are older. They, people don't start putting the money into them, and next thing you know, like they're tearing them all down. I mean, who knows what can go on in a short period of time.
And even the future. And how do they know the future and what's going to happen there? So you want to look at building permits that have been maybe added, or talk to the city about that too, about the neighborhood and area. So we're going to end with a quote. I know we went a little long today with our show. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Again, ask me if you wanted the full article. There's lots more on there about that. But you had challenged me about an Elvis quote this week. So, yeah. So I got it. The truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it ain't going away.
Very cool. I like that.
And we've had some sun lately.
That's true. And an Elvis quote to boot. I love it. All right. If people want more information about, what you've been talking about here today, the listings and things like that, where can they go?
That is michelecummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.